I've been overly fair because I've been through 5 pandemics with him, right? He was really my man during HIV, MERS, SARS-1, H1N1. H1N1 was a terrible pandemic. You don't even know what happened. That's what I kept saying during the outbreak of this one. I was like, that was bad, and you're worrying about this one. Like, why didn't we have a moderate reaction to that one at least? Why this reaction? Anyway, but so I figured he had been adulterated by what everyone's get adulterated with, which is the tribalism of our time. And I thought he would revert to the mean. I thought his overall function has always been like, his judgment has been awesome. And I assume, I still to this day believe we'll see a reversion to the mean in terms of him looking okay. However, he finally did something that upset me.
All right, I am in studio with a real live human being, according to the paperwork, Dr. Drew Pinsky. It is good to see you, my friend.
It's good to see you, and to be fair, I insisted on this. I did. You were like, no, we'll do it by Zoom. I'm like, no, I don't want to do it by Zoom anymore. I'm tired of this. I've seen this great studio. I want to be in it with you. I want to see you.
It's good to see you. We are less than 6 feet apart, so we're risking everything right now.
You're risking everything. I'm as immune as I can possibly be.
You've had COVID like 18 times.
I've had COVID. I've had the antibiotic. I've had the injection. I've had the vaccine. I'm good. And I do something that no one does. I'm following a very sophisticated antibody screen with my neutralizing antibodies and my B cell function, so I can tell you categorically, if I get COVID, it'd be reportable.
Do you feel like your life's work has led to this moment?
No, I don't. I never expected any of this, nor do I really welcome it, to be fair. But I will, I took the Johnson & Johnson vaccine myself, and I had a nasty reaction to it, really bad. I woke up with a sudden black eye, which is called a raccoon's eye, which is the presenting symptom of transverse sinus thrombosis, which is the dreaded complication of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. I'm looking in the mirror going, oh, God damn it. Am I going to have a transverse sinus thrombosis? And nothing. So.
And nothing.
We'll see if I take another one.
Did you choose the Johnson & Johnson one intentionally?
I did. I sort of picked it early for 2 reasons. One, I react horribly to viruses, horribly to vaccines. So I kind of just wanted one vaccine. Silly me. Now I need another. But I was hoping just to get by with one. Also, I like the idea of a sort of an old-fashioned platform. And nothing against Moderna. I might even take the Moderna now, or our mRNA vaccines. But I just thought, I react to everything. Better I use something old-fashioned.
So before we get to the book, which I'm holding in my hand, so I'll put it down for a moment. Let's just do the COVID stuff.
Let's do the COVID stuff. Let's get it out. Push it aside.
You've got antibodies. You did Johnson & Johnson. You don't have a problem with the mRNA. Is there anything that people should know about the mRNA? We're hearing so much conflicting stuff, and I had Dr. Brian Keating on my show last week talking about that people just don't trust experts anymore, and in many cases, it's the experts' fault.
Right. So, particularly the CDC's fault. I mean, and the government, anybody associated with public health or CDC has created vaccine hesitancy. They've created it. They've done everything wrong. They should have been from the beginning wide open. Here's our thinking. Here's our concerns. Here's the debate we have behind closed doors. All that is how you get people who are resistant to loosen up and come on board. You treat them like intelligent people who need to be reasoned with, and you give them all the information. You don't say you can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth. I become resistant. What's bizarre to me is we learned how to do this during the HIV epidemic. I don't know if I ever told you this. I got involved in radio because in 1983, one Anthony Fauci, who was my hero at the time, was telling us young physicians that we had to get out there and educate and change behavior because we couldn't get people to stop having sex and passing this virus. And I thought, I took it very seriously. And we learned across that pandemic with a 100% fatality rate. It was the darkest hours. We learned that the way you change behaviors is with narratives and information and showing the consequences of people's choices, a little humor, a little music. That's how you change behavior. Not me in a box pointing my finger at somebody. It's the opposite.
Right. So I've heard you talk about your experience with Fauci then, and you've been, I think, very fair to Fauci. I would say almost overly fair.
I've been overly fair because I've been through 5 pandemics with him, right? He was really my man during HIV, MERS, SARS-1, H1N1. H1N1 was a terrible pandemic. You don't even know what happened. That's what I kept saying during the outbreak of this one. I was like, that was bad, and you're worrying about this one. Like, why didn't we have a moderate reaction to that one at least? Why this reaction? Anyway, but So I figured he had been adulterated by what everyone's get adulterated with, which is the tribalism of our time. And I thought he would revert to the mean. I thought his overall function has always been like, his judgment has been awesome. And I assume, I still to this day believe we'll see a reversion to the mean in terms of him looking okay. However, he finally did something that upset me, which was, I don't know if you remember in front of Congress multiple times, whenever they would ask him about the gain of function or funding,
we've covered it.
He would just be like, I'm confused. What are you talking about? I had nothing like. 2 days ago, he goes, well, we did change viral function, but we didn't, not this, but we were changing virus.
Right, that was the word.
Why didn't you tell us? That's what we were. That's how you create vaccine hesitancy. Now it's like, okay, I can't trust you. You knew what we were asking. Answer the damn question. Be open about this. Trust the American people to be able to digest what you're telling them and give them a recommendation and then move on.
So do you think, in essence, he lied under oath to Rand?
I don't really have an opinion about that so much as to say.
Because change of seems to be the word that he's
You can't do that right now. You've got to be open and honest. You cannot obfuscate. This is dissembling. You cannot, whether it's lying or worthy of sort of further investigation. I have no opinion. It's dissembling. It's obfuscating. You can't be that way now. That's how you create vaccine hesitancy. I've gotten to the point now where I'm telling people, your problem, I've talked to lots of vaccine hesitant people. Your problem is you don't know who to trust. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to find, if it's for the kids, find a pediatrician. For it's you, find an internist that you trust, and you sit down with that person, and you too make that medical decision the way we're supposed to make all fucking medical decisions. The fact that anybody has an opinion about what a doctor does with his patients is offensive and disgusting. The fact that anybody has an opinion about what Joe Rogan doctor does with him, that's disgusting. Now, other physicians can have opinions about it, and we can discuss it professionally, but for people in the world to interfere with that relationship, that is disgusting. And why people aren't more upset about the adulteration of the relationship between doctors and patients, I'm gobsmacked.
Yeah, no, I can see it. Look, I know you pretty well off camera too. I'm pretty sure I've never heard Dr. Drew or my friend Drew say the F-bomb before.
I'm upset.
So I get it. So
it's not that I don't say it. It's that I just haven't heard it. You put a pretty party on here. I find my best behavior.
I do all right, But so to that end, I mean, I assume I've heard you talk about it a little bit. Are you 100% against mandates as a general rule? To what you just said.
The one thing I've learned about medicine. One thing I've learned about medicine is you never say always and never. You just never do that. So, am I against mandates? Generally, yes, absolutely. I'm against the idea that this. Now, I understand that we need to do things to urge populations to do certain things. I don't see where it's the. Look, I was even in France recently. It's very.
I've only been to France once. It was in 1997.
Okay. I suggest you go back there now because it's very interesting what's happening there. What's happening there? They have same mandates we have essentially. They apply it very differently. When you go to the Louvre, you can show your EU pass, or go over there and get a test if you'd like, whatever you want, or you can show us your antibodies from your natural immunity. Rational. That's not there's a mandate, but a rational application of a mandate. And the really interesting thing is the youth are fighting like crazy. Mm-hmm. So 18 to 28-year-olds are in the streets by the thousands.
Yeah, you don't see that on CNN.
Vive la liberté is their call. My French is pretty good, and I spoke to a lot of them because I was intrigued. I'm like, young people not asking for more mask wearing? I might understand. They were furious, and their position was, look, you've educated us, rightly, that this thing is not a major risk to us. Now you're mandating us put something in our bodies. We may choose to do it, and you can help us make that decision if you think it's so. Mandating it, no. And it's echoes of 1790. I'm telling you, they bring up the same language as 1790. They raise their fist.
And they've got a history of beheading over there.
I don't think this is that kind of mob action yet, but that's going on here. It's called cancel culture.
If you're looking for more honest and thoughtful conversations about politics instead of nonstop yelling, check out our politics playlist. And if you want to watch full interviews on a variety of topics, watch our full episode playlist all right over here. And to get notified of all future videos, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell.